I was just going to share some of my advice. It took a lot of experiences for me to come up with this advice to share with you. First of all, let's talk about God. Not about religion necessarily, but about God. God, in a lot of countries, is named after a man. I mean, I don't think God is necessarily a woman's name, but Allah definitely isn't. And there are a lot of other examples, but it's really the way that this greater universe acts towards women. For example, God is very elusive, kind of like a man. You want them near you. Let's say that you're being robbed, and you could call your boyfriend, please, please come over, come over. And of course, you can't get them, or they're with somebody else, or they're not speaking to you for some reason, or they're just in one of their, get in the cave kind of moments. Sometimes they'll race over there, but then there are many times when you call them or want to be with them and they've run away. Like if you've had a fight and you've screamed, blah, 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 you've done this and this. Men don't just come back and fight back. They just hide, which drives us insane. And God's a little like that. You pray and you pray and you might get out of that robbing situation, but do you ever see him? Do you ever actually be able to thank him, give him a hug? No. So that's one reason that they're a lot alike. So this elusive quality, this sort of chasing after somebody, always trying to find out or figure out if they really love you, that's sort of like men and God. They work together like that. And also, the one way he does trick us, though, is that, we're supposed to be made in his image. And I think women get the short end of the stick in a lot of ways, because we seem basically a little bit more needy than men. It's not just me. I mean, I would tell you if it was just me. I don't think it is. But then again, he gives them different sized penises. Now, that's just really cruel because if you're born with, I don't think it happens when you're born, but let's say, I don't know, when you're 14, whatever happens, and you find out that your penis is really small, and you have to go through your life with a small penis, and nobody ever talks about it. Like, if they just talked about it and said to their girlfriend or somebody they're about to sleep with or something, I have a really small penis, everything would be fine. The woman would probably feel sorry for him. Probably the man's really good at foreplay and everything else. Which is why I really do think men with small penises probably run the world, because I think that all of our leaders and anybody who has any power in our country probably has a small penis, because men with big penises think that that's it. They have a big penis. So, you can tell when you're in bed with them and they don't do any real foreplay or anything. They just think, I have a big penis. And so they don't really put in that much effort. It's probably the same as in everything in life. Where people with small penises, men with small penises, probably try so much harder to make up for the fact that they have a small penis. So they need money and power. So they rise to the top, which then means, unfortunately, that lots of upper class men have children with small penises. I'm not exactly sure how all of this works, but I would just say that men with big penises probably aren't as successful because they don't have to try as hard. Sort of like men with trust funds. They don't really try as hard necessarily. Their father's the head of Ford Motors or something. Then their father did, making all the money. It's kind of the same principle. So it just depends on the woman whether you'd rather have somebody try in every other area. But if people were open about it, like if they were the head of state and they had a small penis, it would just be better if we all knew. Or, it's just something that they don't really share with the rest of us, which is very awkward when you sleep with somebody. If you're not supposed to notice that their penis is really small, you might have them in you and you're like, oh my God, this is incredible. Oh my God. And then they're sitting across the room. They might be finished or not even near you yet because you can't really feel it. And then, of course, big ones, huge ones. I mean, that's annoying as well some of the time, especially if you've been doing your Kegel exercises. You're kind of small in there, and then they come puffing in, and then, of course, my pet peeve, Viagra, if they're going to be in there for too long, you feel like killing yourself. So medium is good. Everything in modification really is how it should be. Like, when we look at celebrities, for instance, and we look up to them, I just think that's when you teach your children and your friends about history, because right now it's very hard to look up at celebrities. They get enough attention without having to draw more attention. I don't really know any normal people. Not that I know a lot of normal people, but even, let's say that I just know trashy people. Just, not that I just know trashy people, but I don't really know very many people who walk around and, flash their toisu, whatever, without any underwear. Or make out for hours in a nightclub, or, have a lot of hookers, pay thousands of dollars to them. It just seems only celebrities do this, which just doesn't make any sense, because they can, or doing drugs in public and lying there, in the back of a car, passed out with cocaine coming out of their nose or something. They have enough attention that they could just do these things at home. So they just must need more attention. Because I really don't think most people just sucky kissy face in bars. I mean, maybe if a person's smashed, but, or go around without their underwear on. So then you have to go with your kids and go, look, I know that you really look up to, this isn't just Lindsay and Brittany or whatever, it's politicians and having affairs with, having babies and lying. I mean, everything. You don't want to do these things, and you try to tell your children. But that's who they look up to, so it makes it extra hard. But anyway, back to God. So you just have to wonder about this God. I mean, I know it's the mystery of all mysteries, but I think as a woman, you just have to, and your children, kind of ignore everything that's going around you. Just try to have your own common sense. And that really means being aloof, never falling in love with the person you're going to marry. I mean, you can be in love with somebody else, but never the person you marry, because it's too much of a game. There's too much at risk. It's the money and the household chores and who's going to take care of the kids. I mean, when we had children, going out, getting drunk with the buddies, and coming home at 3 o'clock in the morning, night after night after night. And so I said, we have children now, and somebody has to be home with these children. It's a huge responsibility. And he said, well, I mean, I just want to go out with you once in a while. I said, no. You have to get up early, so you have to be home with them. I mean, I'm the one who doesn't have to be up for work and to take the children to school, because you already have to go to work, so you may as well get them dressed and go to school. So don't tell me you need to go out with me when I go out at night, because I don't get home till 2 or 3 in the morning. And, you need to be bonding with those children, because somebody has to. And that's the main thing, is you want to make sure that your husband is the one who bonds with them and loves them and goes to the soccer games and organizes everything and does the cooking and everything. Because once you get in a big fight and you decide to get divorced, or he's sick of you and he wants to get divorced, you have to make sure that he's the one who's going to be the main caretaker, so that you can go up and, go out in the world and upgrade. Because everybody knows how expensive it is to take care of children. And plus, if you're home with the children, you'll never meet anybody else, and he'll be out just having a blast. Plus, you just look much more attractive when you're carefree and have the money, that you have from your first marriage. And the house is just too much to take care of. So you want to give him all of that responsibility. Plus, it would just drive you crazy if he was free and driving around in a fancy car, going out all over the place. It's much better for your self-esteem if, you can visit your children and everything. But just he has to have primary custody. The way that you can get the most money is, just the quick spousal abuse. And that's just quickly, like if you have a cut or you hit yourself, whatever, you take a picture of it, and then when the lawyers get together, if you get divorced, if he's kind of sick of the fact that you're not doing anything, lots of times men don't mind. And don't ever worry if they have an affair. I mean, you really want them to, because especially, how much I hate Viagra, when that huge, disgusting, sweaty, out of shape, hairy hunk of an animal you know, climbs on top of you again, all horny, and stays on you for just forever, humping and humping, and you're like, come, will you come? Your vibrator's out of reach, trying to reach over for the vibrator. And he's on you for 4 hours or whatever. I mean, just let them have affairs. You can use it in court. But if they start really falling in love with somebody and you think that they're going to fall in love with them and then take all the money, have her over for dinner. Look like hell when she comes over. Don't feed any of the children until she arrives. Serve the shittiest meal you can ever imagine. Be just frazzled and swear and have the kids have the worst manners, and just the place will look like a wreck. And then show them a picture of what you used to look like. Even if you have to, make up a picture. And then she'll think, oh my God, this man did this to this woman. Or she just won't want anything to do with your household or you or the kids. And she'll never be around your husband again. So that's also another good thing, to make sure that you always have him in your clutches. And, just the obvious things like spend every penny he has so he's poor and always has to be working. Make him do 90% of the chores. Be mysterious. As don't ever act loving or anything. And then just plan what you'll do next time, and just steal as much as you possibly can from him. And just make sure you marry somebody really rich the first time. Because, power and money that's really the whole point of the whole thing, right? Okay. I hope you take my advice. Thanks.